Hi everyone. I'm so excited to be able to get the opportunity to train everyone today. What we're going to go over, and I'm very passionate about, is follow up and troubleshooting. This is something everyone needs to know because it is something that you're going to come in contact with constantly throughout this business and helping others. Um, as we've known and we've heard, Charlie Regis told us the importance of relationship building. We want to make sure that we're not just getting a sale and making somebody feel like that's all we're here to do is to close the sale and get them to buy extras just to make the money. We want to make sure that they know that they can trust us. This is a relationship that we have started with them. We are there from them from the beginning, the middle, the end, and on their journey through Advocare because we know that once you get on these products, you're not going to stop them. So this is a relationship for life, if you want to look at it like that. We're going to go over the first steps of how to build this relationship. And for us, we learned that you should not be starting to talk to them and build a relationship the day they start the challenge. That's too late. We want to start before the challenge. We call that the pre-challenge conversation. And when we do that, what we do is obviously somebody's going to contact us because they're interested in getting on products. And what we want to do then is have a phone conversation or a face-to-face conversation, not a text conversation, because we want them to hear our heart. We want them to know that we're there for them. And we know that when you're on the phone, a lot more comes out than on text. So for a pre-challenge conversation, I like to do this a couple days before the challenge. Rob does the same thing. And what we like to do during this conversation is give them tips for being successful through these 24 days, as well as what to expect. So my first part of the conversation always starts with, tell me what your goals are going to be. What are you looking to get out of this 24-day challenge? And then telling them, I'm going to hold you accountable for that. If you're telling me you want to do this, then you're going to have to follow these steps to do this. And be open and honest with them and say, you know what, if you want this to work, then let's have this open conversation with each other. When something's bothering you, don't let it go. I want you to call me right away and let me know what that problem is, and let's get through this, because there is no problem that we can't fix. We've heard it all. We hear plenty of problems throughout doing this, so we know we can help you figure this out and make this an awesome 24-day experience. So the first thing we talk about is the water intake. When you're getting on this challenge, and I don't know how much water you're drinking right now, but this is important. This is going to help your body cleanse more. It's going to help a lot of the side effects that people complain about because of lack of water. So we talk to them immediately about how important it is to get in 100 ounces of water minimum during the cleanse phase and continue as much as they can throughout the other days. But obviously the cleanse phase, it's so important to have that amount of water because it's going to help get everything moving along. Next thing, which we notice a lot, is people lack the knowledge of how much they should be eating. I know prior to us beginning Advocare, I was one of those people who thought that you eat less, you lose more. And we know that that is not the case at all. So 9 out of 10 times you're telling people that, no, you need to eat more. You need to eat 5 to 6 meals a day. And if you want to lose weight, that's what you're going to have to do. And when people question that, we know we have to explain to them that the more you eat, it's like fuel to the fire. If you don't put the fuel on the fire, it is not going to keep burning. It is the same way with your metabolism. You want to make sure that you're feeding your body so your metabolism is being fed and you're burning. Another thing that's really important is eating within that first hour of waking up. And there's somebody watching this right now that was in it for quite a while. And when I said that to her, she said, no, I had no idea. So people who you think, because they know to eat 5 to 6 times a day, and they seem like they really understand nutrition and the importance of it, they don't know everything. And this was something we learned along our journey with Advocare, how important that 1 hour time frame is from waking up. It can really help somebody lose weight. It can also help with some of the side effects people get with feeling jittery and this other stuff that you hear because of lack of food in their body within that first hour. All night they've gone without eating. So that's something to stress right away. And we know that's why Rob and I love the shakes, is within the first hour of waking up, we have a lot going on in our house. It's completely chaotic. 3 boys getting ready for school, baby crying. So that shake that's going to give me 24 grams of protein and I can throw it in water and in 5 seconds boost my metabolism for the day because I ate within that 1 hour. So that's one way you can explain to them the importance of the shakes as well. Protein. People think that if they're eating every 3 hours or eating 5 to 6 times a day, well, they're doing great. Well, what about protein? We have heard, I myself was famous for eating a meal with zero protein. And we know that protein's what we need for our body to burn fat. So explaining to whoever it is that's ready to start these products, you want to say to them, listen, just look at it this way. If you're not eating a meal with protein, don't count it as a meal. So again, stress the importance of protein. And once again, we have amazing products that you can tell people about, which is Catalyst, is another great product that you can help people along with lack of protein and plenty others. Another great thing to remember is first thing. Now remember, you're talking to them right before this challenge starts. Tell them, enjoy weighing yourself for the last time for the next 10 days. You do not want people getting on and off that scale within that 10-day time frame, because there's going to be days that they're going to weigh more and they're going to get frustrated. They're going to think that this isn't working for them and they're going to quit. We are taking in so much water during the cleanse and not necessarily getting rid of it right away. So the scale is not a very good indicator of how the cleanse is working if you're doing it within the days of the cleanse. So you want to weigh yourself pre-day 1, so the night before, and then you don't want to weigh yourself again until day 11, first thing in the morning, because now the cleanse has done its job and now you're ready to start M&S. Another thing I like to tell women especially is don't necessarily use the scale as your indicator, because we know that men lose pounds, women lose inches. So for a man, it's very easy for them to drop 10 pounds while the wife is standing there and has lost 0.5 pounds. Yet her inches have dropped drastically. So I always tell women, use a tape measure, do your measurements prior to starting the challenge, and use your clothes as your scale. So for me, I know how I'm doing as far as my weight because I can tell how my clothes are fitting, or looking in the mirror, or another great, option to use besides just a scale. To be honest, Rob and I haven't had a scale in, probably 15 years in our house. I have no idea how much I weigh. The only reason I do right now is because of the baby. But it's not an important thing, because if you feel good, you look good, and you see the difference in your clothes, that's really what should matter. This is a topic that will come up more than probably anything, and it's something you want to get out on the table right away, because it is the reason why people quit this challenge, quit products, quit Advocare. It is the dreaded word that people hate to talk about, and it's constipation. This is a conversation you want to have without them even starting the conversation after starting the challenge. You want to say to them prior to the challenge, hey, listen, I'm going to bring this up and get it right on the table right now, because a lot of people feel uncomfortable talking about it and struggle through it during the cleanse. If at any point you're starting to feel constipated or bloated during this cleanse, that is normal and we have a solution for it. And I want you to tell me if this starts to happen. And then I say to them right away, just if this starts happening, of course let me know, but here are some troubleshooting tips. You want to make sure that if you are starting to feel constipated, are you drinking enough water? Are you drinking that 100 ounces of water? Are you taking your omegas? A lot of people like to take 2 omegas. It says that in the guide to take 2 omegas. I personally have never done 2 omegas. I always do 6. I do 2 at every meal. And it actually started when I did the challenge, because I was doing 4 at that time. I was doing 2 in the morning and 2 at night. And it wasn't enough for me. I was experiencing the bloated feeling and I wasn't cleansing. So that is when, I started to up it to 6. And now from that point on, I've always stayed on 6. So it depends on the person. Rob personally stays on 2 omegas every day with his M&S pack, and that's it. I couldn't do that. So you want to make that person understand that when they experience this, this isn't something weird or a reason to give up. Another thing that it could be is, if you are feeling that feeling, start taking in more fibrous fruit. Are you having enough fruit? A lot of people are lacking fruit, which could lead to the constipation. So there's 3 ways right there starting the challenge. You want to tell them omegas. We might have to adjust your omegas, water intake, as well as taking in that fruit that we need. Those are some of the biggest tips that we talk about during the pre-challenge conversation. Are you going to coach them along throughout the rest of the 24 days? Absolutely. Are you going to come across other issues throughout those 24 days that you didn't cover during that conversation? Absolutely. These are just some of the ones that we feel come up the most, and that's why we take care of them before the challenge even begins. So now we're on to reminders. For many of you on this screening right now, well, the streaming, I should say, you have my reminders that I came up with, the challenge reminders. Advocare now puts out amazing reminders that we offer our customers as well. But let me explain to you why I came up with these reminders and how it all came to be. Very early on in our business, we had those same problems, the same questions, and I felt like all I did from morning till night was rewrite these same exact answers on a text. And it was one night that Rob was working one of his side jobs, I was home, the boys were sleeping, and it was 3 people at the same time asking me questions very similar. And I kept retyping the same exact thing. And at that point I said, you know what? I know these questions that keep coming up. And I feel that maybe if I just sit down right now, take a couple hours and put it into a Word document, which I actually used Evernote for it, I think that I could solve a lot of these problems and make it a lot easier on myself. Because what I'll do is I'll just send them to everyone, and then it'll eliminate some of those problems right off the bat. So I sat down one night, took about 3 or 4 hours, and I went through all 24 days and picked those big days that there's either a change or you feel a couple days have passed and they needed some quick cleanse reminders or some M&S reminders. Because again, this is their first time. For somebody like us who have been involved with Advocare for 4 years, we've done the challenge so many times that it seems like second nature to us. So that's how my reminders came to be. And it takes me, if I have 7 people on the challenge, it takes me maybe 3 minutes to send out these reminders. I usually do it at night so it doesn't, get passed by when I send a text to somebody when they're at work. And the main reason I think these reminders are so important are you have one chance to make Advocare a lasting impression on somebody. If somebody decides to invest the money on the challenge and believes that you're going to help them and they don't get success or they get real frustrated throughout this 24-day challenge, you've lost them. We have yet to have somebody who hated the product or hated the challenge and then came back and said, I can't wait to try again. It's not going to happen. So this is your chance. So success is your number one thing you should be thinking about. If somebody is buying the challenge, the products, you want to guarantee them success because we know the products work. So there shouldn't be a problem with success. What success is going to equal is a long-term customer. And that's at worst, because at best, what we're going to have is this customer is going to realize, hey, I'm staying on these products, so tell me a little bit more about that discount if they're not already signed up for it. And you know what? That discount customer now sees the advantage of sharing with others and then maybe turns into somebody who's like, you know what? I'm going to be a hobbyist at this. And then, best case scenario is you're going to turn this person into a business builder. And you never know, they could be a rock star. So we want to make sure that we're getting them the success, and that's where these reminders are going to come in. We also want to know that we want you guys to know that in the beginning, Rob and I didn't know how to do very much. So we were learning as we went, but the one thing we were good at was this. We knew that we had to follow our customers. We knew we had to talk to them and not text them. We were on the phone with them because it's very easy for someone to say, yeah, I'm doing fine, and blow it off. But when you're talking to them, you're really getting to the root of how great they're really feeling, or if there's a little adjustment you can make to really open their eyes up to how incredible these products are. So this is what Rob and I truly believe built our business from the very beginning, is we made sure everyone got the success that they needed. We want you to know that these reminders that I'm talking about right now, if you're unfamiliar with them or you do not have them, Rob has attached them to the bottom of the video screen. So you'll see them attached to the bottom of this page. So if you would like to use them, he's going to put them into a Word document for you to use. Okay, so now we're going to go over how to use the reminders that we use. They are all titled, so it's pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to go into a little bit about why we're going to send them and when. The first one is the day 1 through 10. And I do this the night before. I don't do it a couple days before they start because, again, it's going to get lost in the mix. So the night before, I send it to them. And this is basically showing them from day 1 through 10, which is your cleanse phase, exactly what it's going to look like. You're going to wake up and do this. It is step by step. And the beauty of it is it's taking the thinking away from it. So they can enjoy the process and not worry so much about, oh, am I supposed to take this? Did I take everything? If they've looked through this reminder and they can check off right next to it that they've done it, well, guess what? They did it correctly. So I send it the night before, and I always follow it up by saying, look this over real quick and ask me any questions you might have, but this is what your next 10 days are going to look like. Your following reminder is going to be the cleanse reminder. Again, they're new to this. They're just starting it. So some things can slip by while reading the day 1 through 10 reminders because they're just thinking, okay, I got to do this right. I want to get great results. So I wait until day 2. And on day 2, I send the reminder called cleanse reminders. And it's quick. All it is just reiterating what day 1 through 10 was and telling them the importance of drinking water and making sure they're taking their omegas. So again, it's just reminding them and making sure that if they go through this list and they see something that they're not doing, they're only on day 2 right now. So it is a quick fix and on to the next, 8 days that they'll have. Then we have tomorrow is day 4. Obviously, if tomorrow is day 4, we're sending it on day 3. Again, I send them at night. And right here is just telling them tomorrow's day 4. You should start feeling awesome. Your body is detoxing right now. And about day 4 or day 5 is that, aha, this is amazing. I don't remember feeling this energized and great. So again, it's basically to keep that touching base with that customer and letting them know you're not too far away. Again, I leave a couple days to go by, and then at day 7, I send them tomorrow is day 8 reminder. Very similar to day 4. It's just saying, hey, just so you know, you have 3 more days left on the cleanse, and you should just be making sure that you're doing XYZ. And this is also the time that I remind them, and I bring up, not only am I checking in with them, but now I've brought up the business to them if you haven't already. This is where I really stress it because they're feeling really good right now. It's day 7. They should be feeling awesome. I know by day 7, I remember saying to Rob, if only we knew about this Advocare stuff years ago, we wouldn't have felt so run down and lack of energy, especially as we had children and Rob was working so many jobs. This is where I say to them, hey, listen, I don't know how much you've thought about this, but you're feeling really good right now. This is the time you want to start sharing. This is when we started sharing. And this is where your business will start building. Because when you're feeling and you're in that moment of loving these products, that's when you're most passionate. We, 4 years later, we love Spark, obviously. We take it every day. But we don't remember those days without Spark. So we've gotten used to feeling that good with Spark. So when somebody is really new to Advocare and they're just experiencing Spark for the first time, they're real excited and real passionate because they don't remember feeling this good. So this is the time you want to remind them, hey, I don't know how much you've thought about the business side, but if you are interested or even think this could possibly be for you, you don't have to do very much, but start sharing. Start sharing how you feel right now. Start sharing with somebody who's talking about lack of energy. Tell them how great Spark is making you feel within the last couple days. So this is just my plug that I start with, the first time I really plug in how your success on your products and your love for your products can lead into an amazing business opportunity with Advocare. And I always tell them about Rob and I's personal experience about how we weren't, at that point, I wasn't seeing dollar signs when I first started the challenge. But when I started feeling amazing on the products, and I remember Rob saying, hey, there's this amazing business opportunity Will shared with me, that's when I was like, uh-huh. So you're telling me if I just tell people how great I feel on these products and the amazing results I'm getting on them, that this could be maybe a plan B income. And now obviously for us, it's a plan A income. Um, so again, that is the time that I start to remind them about, oh, well, bring up the business and remind them about how great the products are. Now this one is a biggie. You are going to have to really be there for people for the start of M&S. So on day 10, that's the end of the cleanse. Of course, I'm going to be speaking to them, asking them how great they felt after the cleanse was over. But now is the time to start M&S. So on day 10 at night, I send out 2 reminders. I send out tomorrow starts M&S, and it'll explain a little bit about what to expect on M&S, as well as some tips for success. And then also what your day will look like on M&S. It's very similar to the day 1 through 10 on what the cleanse will look like. But this again is a step-by-step of when you wake up and all the way through the day, this is how your day is going to roll out. Again, it's taking the thinking away for them and letting them just enjoy it and having something in front of them. So they're pulling up this reminder and can literally see that they've done everything throughout the day by the time they go to bed, and feel confident that they're going to get the success they want because they're following the right steps. Then day 16. So again, prior to day 16, they've started M&S on day 11. In between day 11 and day 16, I do contact them in between those days because it's a pretty big gap between day 11 and day 16. And I just say, hey, how's M&S going for you? You can also always go back to the reminder for M&S that I send out on day 10. And there's a spot in there that says M&S reminders. You can just copy and paste those and send them a couple days after. So like say day 13, day 14. And then on day 16, that's called Life After the Challenge. Again, this is not only a reminder going out for products, telling them after the challenge, these are the products, that you might want to remain on. Let's talk about which goals you're looking to achieve. So if it's weight loss, these products are good for you. If you're looking for tightening and toning, these are great. So this is a reminder that gives them some options. But this is also the time I'm bringing up the business to them as well. Hey, you're on day 16 right now. Not only have you experienced the cleanse, which makes you feel great because now you have energy and the bloating is gone and you're clear-headed, but now you've had a couple days on M&S. And M&S, as we all know, is amazing. And now you can say to them, okay, so now you can see how great it is. Now, have you been sharing, or can you tell me how I can help you share? And so on. So again, you want to do a little bit of a business plug in there as well. And then we have one last reminder, and it's called Preparing for Life After the Challenge. Again, we already did Life After the Challenge, but this is one last one towards the end that you want to send them that reminder again to give them their options of what to do, but also you don't want to just cut them off on day 16 and say, see ya, I hope you have a great last couple days. You don't. This is your chance now. Now they're done. I think on the reminder it says you're almost at the end of the challenge. So you want to make sure now you know what their journey is going to be with Advocare. Do they want to stay on products only? Do they want to stay on products and now you're helping them share with others? So this is your time you really want to connect and see where they want to go. So those are the reminders. Again, they're very self-explanatory. I'm here to help. Your leaders are here to help as well. So remember, like I said, Rob and I truly believe that these reminders and these troubleshooting tips that I'm going to go into right now are what helped us build our business from the beginning when we were new. Because again, success is number one. If you don't get your customers success, you have nothing. So just remember that as you're going through this, that one little reminder will make them a lifetime customer or a business builder, whatever it is intended to be. So now we're going to go on to some troubleshooting. When we sat down with Will and Brandy, and Rob and I were talking with them, we all were saying how important this part is, because troubleshooting is going to be your job throughout your Advocare business. You are constantly going to get issues come up. Some customers obviously have more than others, but it seems to be that between the four of us, we really were in agreement that most of the troubleshooting problems that we came across were real similar. So we're going to troubleshoot on these areas. Are there going to be ones that I'm not mentioning? Of course, but these are the most popular ones we've heard. I've mentioned this one, number one, constipation. I talked about it when we're doing that pre-challenge conversation. Constipation is going to be something you really, really have to be open it up to them, because it is very hard and sometimes very uncomfortable, like I said, for somebody to come straight out and be like, help, I'm constipated. It's weird, you know how it is. So what could be the issues with constipation? Obviously, during the cleanse, we discussed it. It's going to be water, omegas, and fibrous fruits. We want to stress the importance of that. Again, there's no such thing as too much omegas. So when somebody says, it says 2 here and you're telling me 6, am I going to overdose on omegas? You cannot. Assure them that, that is very healthy for them actually, and that it's not going to be a problem. But again, that's going to be one of your very common issues that come up throughout the challenge and after, because we've heard it after the challenge as well. Now, M&S issues. M&S is the most amazing product, the metabolic nutrition system, but it is a product that you need to get used to. It took me 2 rounds of M&S, so a month worth of M&S, to actually say I loved M&S. The first issue was it's a routine. It's a routine people aren't used to. So when people say, oh my gosh, it's so many pills, what do I do? Assure them that after they do it for a little while, it becomes just part of their everyday routine. There is one way we have learned from going through trainings of a way to help people who say it's too many times during the day that I have to remember these pills. So number one way that we have learned that we now teach our customers, you have 3 packs of the 4 packs in the strip that you can be rid of by breakfast. Gone. So the only thing left for them to remember is 30 minutes before lunch. And how we do that is 30 minutes before breakfast, so right when they wake up, they're going to take their first M&S pack, their 30-minute before breakfast pack. Then with breakfast, they're going to take the 2 with packs. Those are just multivitamins, so it doesn't matter when they take them. Actually, in the morning, it's a great way to take them, because then all day long they have those vitamins in their body, and they're having food with them as well. So sometimes when people will complain about nausea, which is going to be another step that we're going to go into, but having that food with the multivitamins is going to help. So right now, by the time breakfast came, that 30-minute before pack has been taken, and then the 2 with packs have been taken with breakfast. So all that's left is that 1 30-minute before lunch. What do we tell them to do with that packet? Put it in your pocket, because every time you move around and sit down, it makes that crinkly sound and reminds them that they have to take it. A second way to do it, which is what I live by, is my phone reminders. Set a reminder 30 minutes before you think you're going to have lunch, or even a little bit more, just to remind you, hey, lunch is coming up soon, don't forget to take this pack. And then that way, they're done by lunchtime. It seems a lot easier that way. Another issue we hear with M&S is I'm nauseous. Well, there are a couple reasons why they could be nauseous. First of all, for me, like I said, it took me a little while. I had to do a little bit of playing around with M&S. I was getting that nauseous feeling when I first started taking M&S. And what it was that my body could not wait 30 minutes for that 30-minute before pack. So I was taking it 30 minutes before breakfast, and then at the 30-minute mark, I was not feeling good. My stomach was very uneasy. So what did I have to do? I just had to take my time back a little bit more. So I started at 20 minutes, waiting 20 minutes. And once my body seemed fine with that, I went up to 25. Still to this day, I do not wait 30 minutes because it doesn't work with me. So I go up to 25 minutes. That seems to be the time that works best for me. So you can tell the customer, hey, listen, when you start taking M&S, we might have to play around with the timing a little bit, but once we get it down, you're going to love this, because it is a bucket of core nutrition. Everybody needs it. And for those people who are visual, like myself, when people ask me, about why is M&S so important and why should I stay on it for after the challenge, I believe it was Dr. Dudrick that explained it to us during one of the trainings. This is why M&S is so important. For people who say, hey, I eat really clean, do I really need M&S? Well, yes, everybody needs it. Your body is like a piece of Swiss cheese. So I'm picturing this. So I'm, like I said, I'm visual, so it makes sense to me why I need this. No matter how healthy you eat, no matter how clean you eat, your body is like a piece of Swiss cheese that can only absorb so much food, so much vitamins from food. So as clean of an eater as you are and as many vitamins as you're taking in, there's still those gaps that your body cannot absorb from food alone. And that's where M&S comes in. It's that bucket of core nutrition that's going to fill in those gaps that food alone cannot give you. And that is why you feel so great on it, is because if you're eating healthy and you're putting that bucket of core nutrition in, you're getting everything that your body needs. So the troubleshooting for M&S, I'm just going to recap. The constipation, like I said, the water intake, nausea, you might have to play around a little bit with the time in between those 30-minute before packs. Another issue that comes up that we hear often is, I'm feeling a little jittery. What can we do for jittery? There could be a couple things. Again, the timing of M&S. For myself, like I said, I can only make it to 25 minutes. After that, not only was I feeling nauseous, but I was feeling jittery. And it reminds me of one time, actually, we were in New Orleans and our waiter took too long to bring the food after I took M&S. And I was freaking out because I was so jittery. And it really was about the timing. So then I could really relate to somebody who was having that issue. Another thing that jittery can mean, they're not eating enough food. They're not eating enough. And talk about protein as well. Remember, a complete meal is necessary if you're taking M&S. So if somebody says that they're jittery, you want to say, okay, let's talk about how we're timing. And also, what is the food, what is the meal that you're eating when you take the M&S? Because sometimes it's lack of food. And then, again, we want to also, when we talk about the M&S, when you are talking to somebody about what M&S they want to choose, make sure that you really discuss the 3 different options. What does C provide for them? What does E provide for them? And what does 3 provide for them? Because, like I said, for me, M&S E does not work. But you want to make sure that you are explaining what their choices are and what that type of M&S can do for them, so they're making the correct choice. So personally for me, when I talk to somebody that says that they definitely need more energy, I can always say to them, okay, so are you okay with caffeine? When you take caffeine, do you do well with it? You don't have any problems with jitteriness? As far as M&SC, maybe do you find yourself going to the pantry a lot at night? Well, then you're more craving. So you definitely want to make sure that you're customizing it to that person. So we try to avoid these issues that somebody might have with the wrong type of M&S. Again, water intake is going to be a problem that you hear that can cause a lot of these issues. So again, every time you speak to your customer or customers that are on the challenge, you want to reiterate the importance of drinking water throughout these 24 days and even after. That will alleviate a lot of these problems that we hear. Headache. Headaches are normal during the detox phase, especially throughout the cleanse. We hear it between day 1 and 4 mostly. That is actually, I know it sounds bad, but it's a good sign. It means your body is detoxing. We actually prepare people for this prior to the challenge and say to them, hey, listen, if by like day 2, 3, you're feeling a little bit of a headache, just don't worry about it. Try to get past it. It's a good sign that your body is detoxing, and you're going to feel great by the time day 4 and 5 come. So again, just let them know that that's something that might happen, but it's okay, and they're going to get past it. Another thing is you want to, as far as headaches is concerned, if they're complaining about it after the detox phase, which is again day 1 through 4-ish, if they're complaining about after they've gotten on M&S, again, go back to the timing of M&S. The timing of M&S can lead to so many issues that really don't need to be there, as long as you help them figure that out and even let them know that's an option. Because again, on that pack, it reads, take 30 minutes before. So somebody who's new to this is going to think, in order for this to work, I'm going to have to wait 30 minutes. And we know that's not the case. Um, Jitters, I have another note for myself to remind you about jittery. If somebody's complaining about jitteriness and it doesn't have to do with the M&S, think about Spark. When somebody first gets onto Spark, you can regulate the amount that you need. We see often some of our friends talking about it's a 2-scoop kind of day. Let's do 2 scoops this morning. Personally, if I took 2 scoops, I would be running these blocks forever. It'd be way too much for my body to handle. So when somebody says, oh, I feel a little jittery, you want to find out when. Is it right after you take your Spark? And if they say, yeah, it is. Okay, well, you know what? Let's cut back a little bit on your Spark. Instead of taking a full scoop, go to 3/4 of a scoop. That seems to help. So we have somebody on our team actually has been involved with Advocare for 2 years now and still takes a half a scoop because that's what makes them feel good. So the next troubleshooting tip we want to talk about is being bloated. We mostly hear this during the challenge, obviously. Again, you've heard this throughout this training. A lot of these are repetitive, but if you're hearing bloatedness, it's usually constipation, and we want to make sure we're talking about water, omega, as well as increasing their fibrous fruits. So again, you're hearing those things over and over again, and I don't mean to repeat myself, but unfortunately, I have to because these few little tips will help solve so many of these problems that you're hearing. One last thing that we want to talk about that Will brought to our attention is if somebody is saying that they are having a rash or feeling a little flush from Spark, we have heard that it could be from dehydration. So again, you want to say, okay, listen, when I know you're saying you're having a rash, you're feeling flush from Spark, how much water have you been taking? How much water have you been drinking? And you could say to them, hey, we've seen this happen before, and a lot of the times it's because of dehydration. So let's increase your water and see how it works. And again, we want to remember that we are seasoned with this, most of us. So it seems so easy for us to solve these problems. But for somebody new, they're reading play-by-play of whatever the book says, whatever your reminder says. So again, we want to be there for them. We want to lock arms with them and really help them through this and get them success. And in closing, what I want to say and what I want to share is when I think about our team, I think that the main reason our business is as successful as it is and our team is as strong as it is, when we have a customer come on, they stay our customer. Why? Because of the success of the products. Our team truly consists of people who loved the products. I really cannot think of one person who came on board and said, hey, I don't really like the products, but I'm going to rock this business. It's not going to happen, or it hasn't happened for us. So please remember that not only is success going to lead to people staying on board, but success is going to lead to amazing business builders. We truly love the products. Rob and I can't imagine a day without products, and that is why we're so passionate about it. Think about anything in life. If you're passionate about something, say it be it a sport, you've probably really put your heart and soul into it. You love the sport. So you want to make sure, again, the 24-day challenge is just the start of products for them, but you want to make sure success is happening the whole time. And remember to talk so passionate about the products and your love of the products, because I will say that I believe that if you can get your customers to love the products and get such great success on them, you can build yourself an amazing team that's going to stick and stay all the way until the end and so on. When things got tough for Rob and I, everybody has those times in their business that you're going to hit those blocks, those obstacles, but because we love the products, it got us through it because we knew it was just, a little obstacle, and we're going to go on and continue to share these products. So again, success, number one thing to think of. You want to get everybody success, no matter what they think that they're going to be with Advocare. They might say, I just want to do this 24-day challenge and I'm never going to continue anything again. So again, thank you for letting me share with you today, and I hope that these troubleshooting tips as well as these follow-ups will help in your business. And have a great day.